that's the project. And why education? I don't think we had, a single person questioning why education from us. I think it's pretty, it's a basic human need in today's world, and it's really the base for everything that we do. To be able to think clearly, to be able to think intellectually, you need that education, you need to have that framework. So the need for education is universal, and the quality of education is the next level up. Egypt has been fairly successful, actually, in expanding the number of people who go to school and attend classes, especially the younger generation. But the problem is the quality of education is a whole other issue, where you have kids still in 5th grade that are still struggling and knowing how to read and write, even though they're almost 10, 11 years old. So while the numbers look good on paper, what actually happens when they walk out of the school is still a major challenge, and that's where some of our work comes into play. I want to stress that this work on this project, we've been working on it for a few months now. We're talking to a lot of different people and organizations, and we're really getting a lot of encouragement and also a lot of different ways to maximize the benefit, a lot of different ways to approach it, and some of the feedback is very valuable and it's very important. But some things once you get started on a path, you have to kind of absorb as much as you can while not deviating too much from your general objective. There's clearly 100 different ways you can do this. There's some that are shorter, but we're focusing on something that we believe will be the most effective given who we are today, how big we are, and how much effort we can put into this project. Why education? There's many reasons. Obviously, benefiting the country, the quality of education itself, and the geography of Egypt. The quality of education you get in Cairo or Alexandria is very different than when you go to the small villages in Said or some of the small towns. So that's the name of the project, or Educate the Young Educators. We wanted to come up with a catchy name that people will remember, so the name's I. And I think I Educate is something we put kind of as a reference point to remember that's one of Apple's initiatives, so I think that's where I came from. iPad, there you go. So the project as it stands is to focus on 5 teachers who have already finished their college degrees. They're teaching in schools, they're dealing with students on a daily basis, and take these teachers through a screening process, a selection process, with help from our partners in Egypt, and some of these partners include the International Institute of Education, which has had a presence in Egypt for over 50 years. They're very well established. They have many programs, and they were very excited about the project that we're doing and willing to help us with some of the legwork in Egypt. We also want to leverage partner organizations. Some of you may recall Nahdat al-Mahrusa was here, and they do have a strong presence in Egypt. They were open to allowing us to operate under their umbrella to do some of the legwork that we need ourselves. We have one of our board members actually moved permanently to Egypt. Some of you may know him, Sharif Zaki, and he will be actively participating in the project. Moved permanently, yeah. So, his role will focus more on working with the Egyptian government, looking through the candidate selection process, making sure it's fair, there's no favoritism involved in it, and ensuring that that part in Egypt is executed successfully. So we'll have our eyes and ears on the ground in Egypt, helping us to make it happen. The program itself, we're still doing some work on that. Initially, we tried to look into programs that would provide a degree at the end of the program, whether they're a master's program or something that at a minimum would be certified and be able to say got from the U.S. that they can go back with. That's something we still would like to accomplish. We're working closely with several universities, and we're making some progress with that. But as of right now, the focus is to really leverage an existing program. We don't want to design a program specifically for these teachers. We want to use something that's already out there with perhaps some modifications, some adjustments to fit the curriculum for us. But we want at least 90% of that work to be done already through the university. Okay, so this is just a different view of what the project is about. The goal, like I said before, is really not to learn a specific curriculum or use specific books. It's really about teaching teachers how to interact with their students, how to allow them to fail in class. Failure is not a bad thing to do in a class environment where it's controlled, where they can try different things. May not be the right answer or the perfect way to do it, but they learn as they go through that process and be able to figure out why the right answer is the right answer, and these are the reasons. So it's a different teaching approach, and it's something that for those of us who grew up in Egypt and went through whether it's the public school system or highly paid teachers in private schools, it's kind of a universal teaching approach in Egypt, and it's really to teach to the test. There's not a lot of thinking that happens. There's not a lot of discussions that take place in the classroom environment, and that's what we would like to change. So this is kind of a day in the life of a candidate. So we're just walking through as a candidate, and it's really hard to see actually. A little better. We're going to make the PowerPoint available when we post everything else after the meeting. So I know it's a little hard to read, but the idea is to make the announcement, go through the application process, and go through that screening process, get their paperwork ready, and obviously the logistics, the visa, the paperwork, all of that is a fairly extensive process when you're bringing people from overseas, and hence why we went to DC and talked to the State Department and talked to different organizations that have had similar programs in the past that have done this over and over again to see how we can fit into the existing programs and be able to leverage some of these existing connections. And then once they're in the U.S., the idea is to not just throw them directly into class, but to give them an introduction, to have a mentor, either from our organization or through volunteers that we assign them, so each person would have a mentor that would be kind of like the first point of contact for anything that they need. We want to give them an English course of study, and these people will already be proficient in English. They'll go through TOEFL exam or its equivalent, so they will already be proficient in English, but this is more about American English, colloquial terms, how to really adjust to being in the U.S. And to live in an American environment. One of the things that we heard over and over from even some of the members that we have at EAD, some of the ones that came recently from Egypt, was saying, okay, I know how to speak English, but I don't understand the word that people are saying. And it's not necessarily that they don't understand the words, but it's the meaning behind some of these words that we commonly refer to. So that would be part of the program, and then we go through the study program itself. Right now we're talking about a one-year program, based on what our vision is today. Obviously that may change as we continue our discussions with universities. If we're able to make it into a degree program, then at a year it makes sense. If it becomes a non-degree program, and that's what we end up with, some of the feedback we heard from some of these other organizations is that shorter programs sometimes can be just as effective with a shorter duration. So we have to balance it out between getting a degree or getting the most effect for our money, and that's work that's still in progress today. And then I think the most critical part of the program at the end is once they go to Egypt, how do we measure the effectiveness of this program? taken someone from their environment, you put them through an entire program, you took them halfway across the world, and then they go back and what do they do with this knowledge? And that's really what it's all about for us. And we want to be able to measure that, successfully and learn from our mistakes, know what we did right and know what we missed, and be able to make this a continuous program and not just a one-time deal. So the assessment and evaluation aspect of the program is going to be very critical. Some of the ideas that we're considering and we're planning to have as part of this project is once these teachers go back, we want to be able to put them all in. They should all be from either one district or even one school if possible. So when they come back, they can actually make a difference. One of the things that we learned as we went through the project is that initially, we're talking about picking people from different cities, different regions, and be able to, reflect the diversity of the Egyptian education system. And we realized that it's kind of counterintuitive, but you actually want to keep all your eggs in one basket because that's how they can make a difference. When you put one person back in an entire system, the resistance to change is so significant that you end up, frustrating that resource more so than being able to make an impact. And one way to counter that is to aggregate all that knowledge and all that effort into one small area, one small region, and have them work together as a team to make a difference. Another aspect of that is to also make sure the administration of that school, that area, is on board with these changes, and that's very important in Egypt, because you can, even if you're a group that has the knowledge, but if you're not empowered to implement these ideas and these changes in the classroom, then it's ineffective at the end of the day. So as part of the program, we want to involve the administration of the school where these teachers teach either through a shorter, 4-week program or something that would allow them to learn firsthand and see what's happening and what the changes are, so that when these teachers go back to Egypt, they can use that administrator as their as their advisor, as someone that can help them implement the changes. We want to, I think I was just talking to Dr. Yasser, the term he called compounding, or branching out, is that you'll get the most bang for your buck when you not only teach that small number of teachers, but to have them to be able to train other teachers as well. So that the curriculum and the program needs to be flexible enough so that they in turn can take that knowledge, sit down with their colleagues and tell them, okay, this is what I learned, this is how you can do it, and this is how we can make a difference together. So that that would also be part of the measuring the effectiveness of the program when they go back and teach in the school system. Wow, no questions? Right now, we're saying it's a 2-year program, starting in May 2012. 2 years where the actual teachers are in the U.S. for about a year. Some of it is, the pre-planning phase, making sure everything's in place, the program itself, the paperwork, and then having them on site in the U.S. for about a year, and then for having about a 3 to 6 month follow-up afterwards, seeing the effectiveness of the program, what has actually changed as a result of that program, how we can make things different, and make all of that part of the project focus and the project timeline. So this is what it looks like today. And some of you may have seen we have some flyers and postcards about an event at the end of May. This is going to be the fundraiser for this project. We're hosting Noor Sharif and Manan Salama. Noor Sharif, may at first sound as just another celebrity, but in fact he's a great intellectual. He's a big believer in education, and he's a very well-spoken individual. So hopefully all of you will get the chance to meet him and see how much he believes in what we're trying to do, and his support for us and his willingness to come to the U.S. to support So this is the flyer, and you know, please feel free to pick one up. It's on the table here if you want. Sure, you'll see more emails coming from us.
So you had like different options, and you know the one that stood out there as the most motivated speaker for you among several options that you were choosing from was leadership.
Yeah, we definitely spoke to several people.